He stayed along and talked with me there too. If we ever get him to start talking to me again, you know.
Order.
Can you put his microphone so it's going towards him? Otherwise, it won't pick up anything. Put your microphone towards him.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I just don't want it to be in your way. Okay. All right, they're ready when you are.
Okay. Would we have a roll call?
Yep. Chuck Asher, who is absent. Paul Eklund,
Here.
Mallory Avis,
Here.
Jerry Sigourney,
Here,
Mark Woodford,
Mark Woodford.
Mary Frisbee,
Here.
Rhonda Ostrander Cook,
Here.
and Andy Telma.
Here.
Thank you.
Could we have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I make a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Right.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approval of minutes of January 11th. Could we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I would just note the date, the year on the very top should be the 22, not 21.
Okay. Thank you.
Should I get a motion for an amendment? No? Okay. All those in favor of approval of the minutes of January 11th? Say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any communications to the committee?
I have no communications to report.
Okay. Reports from officers?
I have none. Do you have anything to report?
I don't have anything.
Nope.
Okay. Any general public comments?
Nope.
No, no general public.
Yeah, Kelly's here. Old business. Action on reallocation.
Okay. I will take it if you're okay with that. So we have under the old business, our action item here is the reallocation of fiscal year 2022 specialized services funding. And keeping in mind that this funding rolls on a federal or state fiscal year, not the city's fiscal year. So this is a fiscal year ending September 30th with fiscal year 23 beginning October 1st. So as we are wrapping up, this is our third quarter because we haven't completed the fourth quarter yet. So as we're wrapping up review of the third quarter of services, we're noticing that there's some agencies that have some dollars still on the table, and we would like to allocate those before reallocate them before the fiscal year closes. And then we can always do one final reallocation potentially at the November meeting to distribute all of the funds within the same fiscal year without any carryover. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of where we're at with the specialized services funding. And as of the end of the third quarter, we have $43,802 that has not been spent yet. Now, we have no doubt we're going to spend all of that. It's just that it hasn't been paid out yet. The city of Battle Creek currently still has $5,255. We anticipate we're going to spend all of that. We usually, similar to community inclusive recreation, we are usually under on what we're eligible for. So Battle Creek Transit anticipates using all of their allocation. We have a community action agency who couldn't be here today They provided us with estimated fourth quarter numbers so that we could potentially reallocate some of their dollars. And they're expecting to leave roughly $7,281.72 on the table, ending September 30th. So in this instance, we'd be looking to reallocate their $7,281. We have Marion Birch, as of the third quarter, still has $13,156 that they have not spent. That's still on the table. So our suggestion there would be to, of course, discuss with Marion Birch what your fourth quarter might look like and how that would impact your allocation. And then any funds left there, let's reallocate those now. And then lastly is CIR, who has $12,525 left in their contract, subcontract, but it undoubtedly will spend it all. They've already earned all of it. So we have a fair amount of money here to reallocate. I'd like to ask Marion Birch if you could speak to what your first through third quarters looked like. I know they were 0 on your ridership, and if fourth quarter looks any differently, or are we looking to reallocate your full $13,156?
Sure. So first, second, and third quarter, of course, are 0. The facility is still closed. I am working on a reopening plan, but that reopening plan doesn't start until probably November 1. By the time I'm literally starting right back at scratch, 2 employees, so probably only 12 to begin with. As we grow the employees, then I will start to add back in clients. Currently, we have around 50 that are still around and still interested, fully vaccinated, wanting to return, but it's the employees that will be holding things back. So I do not see and would not want you to hold anything waiting, because if we don't start open until November, that's only November, December. I'll probably have self-transport because I have no driver yet.
Okay.
So I don't see, I'm thinking November and December is when I'm going to really be building employees and probably the transportation, so that at the beginning of the year, we'll be on the road.
Okay. Okay. I'd like to ask CIR, do you see any drastic changes in your service or anything that would impact what you could potentially earn in specialized services in the fourth quarter?
No, in fact, I pulled our transportation figures as of today, and we're about a week out in terms of our data entry. So this would be as of a week ago. We had provided 20,094 rides year to date. So we're significantly over what our allocation would be, overall. Our numbers are significantly up from even before COVID. So we're continuing to provide a lot of service.
Okay. So no reallocation is needed there. Looking at the numbers that Community Action provided to us, they gave us a rough estimate of what they expect their fourth quarter ridership to be based on where their numbers are today. Obviously, we're only a couple weeks from the end of the quarter and the end of the fiscal year 22. So I'm comfortable using the numbers that they've provided. That seems consistent with their first, second, and third quarter. And so in this instance, I would take their recommendation of reallocating $7,281.72. And the discussion now is how we reallocate those funds. So the eligible agencies that those funds would go to would be Community Inclusive Recreation and the City of Battle Creek. I will say our budget is already done. We've already established our ridership figures that we needed for specialized services. We've already closed out our fiscal year. I'm comfortable with allocating the dollars to CIR, but let's discuss.
So if we looked at those two amounts, then I'm showing $20,437.72. And I don't have a problem with that if you, Rhonda, think you could expend those.
There's no question. We've already, just with our numbers where we are right now, we're over. I mean, even if there's numbers that would be as of a week ago, that would have, and at the 407, that would have been 81.7, kind of thing. So easily 30,000 over right now without almost a month
Yet to go.
figures to go, yeah. So we definitely could use it, no question.
And I will, for CIR, just for quarters 1 through 3, they have already earned more than our entire specialized services contract value from MDOT. So they've provided, just quarters 1 through 3, they're over 15,000 rides at $8.14 a ride. They've earned almost the whole specialized services contract themselves. And I would be comfortable reallocating the $20,437.72 to CIR. That translates into, just so we're talking about rides and dollars, so that translates into roughly another 2,500 rides that it would cover.
We're already there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we definitely could use that, and we'd be appreciative of that.
Great. It is an action item, Paul. I'll turn it back over to you.
Pardon?
It's an action item, so I'll turn it back over to you.
We need a motion for the approval of the reallocation.
I move the motion.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay.
Do we need to break out that motion as far as how much it would entail?
Do you need us?
I'm fine,
Okay.
You're fine, okay.
fine.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Who supported that one?
Jerry.
A new business. Annual meeting schedule.
Yes. This is also an action item, just so you know. Included with the agenda was the schedule of the meetings for the next year, beginning with the November meeting. And it would be November 15th, 2022, January 10th of 23, June 13th of 23, and September 12th of 23. And so this would be an action item to approve
Okay.
this slated agenda of dates.
Could I have a motion for the approval of this schedule?
I make a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Specialized services contract updates.
Yes, that is me again. So the city is working through the final drafts of our subcontracts with each of the specialized services providers. So you should be seeing those come through shortly. Again, remember, last year, we required that you provide proof of insurance, your last financial audits. And so in our due diligence, we may ask for those things again. And we're not able to fully execute those contracts until we receive all of those documents. So just as part of our oversight of a subrecipient, we just are making sure that we have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed. So when you see those come through, just pay attention to any additional requests like proof of insurance or financial audits.
But now, on the certificate of insurance, do we have to have your name down at that bottom section?
I am not 100% sure, but I can get an answer
Okay.
for you. Yep.
Do we need a motion for that?
No, that is just informational.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Agency updates. Battle Creek Transit.
Okay, so I feel like we're 2 years into talking about staffing shortages and ridership, and I'd like to say that we have our ridership is somewhat rebounding, but it's difficult to tell because our service is still at a lower level than it was in the past, mostly due to staffing shortages. We were successful in getting a grant to continue BC Go. So if you're not familiar with BC Go, that's our on-demand microtransit pilot. And so we have another year of operating assistance from MDOT to continue operating that. Again, that's county-wide service. It's accessible, and it's provided as public transportation. We are also we're looking for drivers. We're holding testing and interviews if anybody knows of anybody who would like to drive. And that's for our teletransit service, our BC Go service, and our fixed route service. So that is the only update I have.
With Charles being gone, is there anyone for community action?
Community Action did not provide an update.
Community inclusive recreation?
Yes. We did a transportation survey back in May, and I just wanted to disseminate that to you, if I can, and
Yep.
add that to the record. This is just of our ridership. Mark, here's one for you, and let me get one to Andy. If you can just pass them down. So this is something we try to do at least every other year, to survey our ridership, just to get a bead on what it is they need, and what we're providing, and if it's adequate, and just to kind of get an idea who our ridership is more than the other methods we have. So we ask where they're currently living, if it's their own home, a parent's home, an AFC, a senior care facility, if they have a driver's license or not. Overwhelmingly, 96.4% do not. If they use public transportation aside from us, and approximately 13.9% use public transportation aside from what we're providing. If they know how to access other public transportation. So that's something we feel like there's probably more education that needs to go on about that, so that they understand what else is available to them. With 69% basically saying that they don't really arrange for other types of transportation for themselves. The vast majority, 98%, indicated they have no additional funds of their own to use for transportation if they need to. When asked, how do you get around for events in the community, 78% was CIR, 13% said staff, 8% said family, less than 1% said public transportation. Several didn't answer. Again, I think there's probably more, some room for additional education around what is available in the community. And then if transportation from us was important to get out and do things, 97% indicated that it was very important to them in terms of being able to get out and access things in the community. So that was just our kind of quick and an easy survey that was back in May. That was 213 people. No, 221 people that answered that survey between May 8th and May 19th. So I just wanted to share that since that was pertinent to transportation. Aside from that, we've been tremendously busy. Even the little upticks with locally of COVID and things like that hasn't seemed to impact too much our participation in that type of thing, and we've just been humming along with increased numbers. We're struggling with gas prices, as is everyone, but they are hitting, very hard when you have those small buses and things like that. It's very expensive to run. So we are holding our own with drivers, but have a couple that are snowbirds that leave for the winter time, so we too are going to be looking for additional drivers. And also our costs for drivers are up. We've really seen an increase in wages that are necessary to attract and retain drivers from where we were a couple of years ago. So not unusual just in the workforce in general, but that's kind of where we are. But aside from that, things are going well.
I think, too, if I may, Paul,
Yeah.
this is a great example of how we can improve. This is the local coordinating committee, right? So this is a great example of how we can work to improve our coordination of services. And we have somebody on staff, Christy is our mobility manager, and I'm sure she would be able to do travel training, educate your participants on how to use public transportation as an option for them to have access. So we'll schedule that.
That sounds fabulous.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Marion Birch?
The only thing additional I would want to talk about is that we have a new administrator. So Donna Mahoney had retired in January, and Stephanie Cornish was recently placed in as our new administrator. She had been performing as an interim. She's had many years with Marion Birch as well as the medical care side. She was a young gal when she rode her bike up to the facility asking how she could volunteer since she was too young to work and be paid. And so she's a class act, and she will do well in that position. So we're real excited to have her at the helm. Again, we are planning to do that opening, and if anyone knows anyone who would like to work at the adult daycare center, we have SENA positions. I'll have a nurse position. I'll have activity people that are needed. So drivers, lots of positions that we'll have posted. And that is it.
Comments? No?
The other would be like BCATS, if BCATS has any updates.
No, not really. I operate more on the capital side. We talked about the operating assistance you all get, and you all see that line on some of your forms that if your projects are in the TIP, whatever, section 53.
5310.
10.
Yep.
I get my 53s all mixed up. But so we did finalize our new TIP, and that's, FDA has approved that for fiscal 23 through 26, and I got information on all your future year projects that you expect off the PTMS. So whatever you had in there is in our TIP. And I guess before the November meeting, I'll compile all that so you all can take a look at that and see if I got everything right in that, and if it's, if we need to change that as we go along through the 3 or 4 years of the TIP, when you do your applications. We had couple instances where OPT, and that's Office of Passenger Transportation, Fred Featherly, where he had to make some changes as we go along, so we got through those okay. So hopefully all your operating funding or capital funding for your projects comes through okay. But all that has to be in our TIP, but we just like to stay ahead of that a little bit, so we're still learning how that process works. The way OPT does things a little different than we're used to doing with our road projects, so. Like I said, in November, I'll try to have all that to show you, so you see how it is in our TIP, and we can make sure everybody's on board and understands and gets us any changes in advance, so we can make sure your capital funding comes through okay.
That's all.
That's all.
Any announcements?
Just the next meeting will be November 15th, based on the approved calendar. And then the next one is committee member comment.
I guess the meetings will continue to be here.
Yes, until further notice, the meetings will all be in the City Hall chambers here, so that we can live stream them as well.
Oh,
Yes.
Any member comments?
Yeah, I got a comment. What I don't like about down at the bus station, people not supposed to smoke, but they keep smoking all the time down there and they won't follow the rules on the signs and stuff.
Okay.
Because you get people that secondhand smoke, makes them cough, you know, when you can't get away from it.
Okay.
Good point.
They can need a bigger sign and let them know that, you know, follow that little sticker you put on the side of the shoulders.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Are there any other comments?
None.
No?
I thought Mark had a comment.
I thought Mark, yeah.
Mark, I thought you had a comment.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I have no comments.
Okay.
If there's no other comments, could I have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Call to order for the local advisory council. Roll call.
Paul Eklund,
Here.
Mallory Avis,
Here.
Jerry Sigourney,
Here.
Mark Woodford.
Mark Woodford, he's here.
Thank you.
Could I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, you do. We do have a
We
quorum.
do? Okay. Approval of January 11th minutes. Could we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion over the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval of the minutes of January 11th, say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Communications to the committee?
I do have one communication to the
Okay.
committee. We have an open seat that needs to be filled by the Area Agency on Aging. Excuse me, so we'll work to fill that. It was previously Lynn Moss, who's no longer with the agency, and so we'll need to fill that role before November.
Do they have any suggestions?
We just discovered this, so we're going to reach out to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any reports from officers?
I did not receive any reports.
Okay. Any comments from the general public on non-agenda items usually? Nope. No comments, Kelly? Old business. Any old business?
There is no old business.
No business. New business. Approval of the 2023 meeting schedule.
And that is an action item for you guys. The 2023 meeting schedule mirrors, for the LEC, it mirrors the LCC. So it's always held immediately after the local coordinating committee meets. And those dates again would be November 15th, 2022, January 10th of 23, June 13th of 23, and September 12th of 23.
Okay. I'm assuming that since we approved that in the LCC meeting, that we still have to do the same thing here, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Need a motion for being able to approve the 2023 meeting schedule?
I make a motion.
Jim?
Tie.
Do you want?
I second it then.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Oops. Agency updates. Battle Creek Transit.
I'll give my update again. I know the other agencies aren't here, but Vicki said she can just make note that it was already updated.
Okay.
We continue to see an increase in demand and our ridership go up. We just don't have the service or the drivers to be able to provide the service. So I keep saying it every platform I get. If anybody's interested in being a bus driver, we have positions open, and that's for BC Go, Teletransit, and Fixed Route.
Are you getting any of the American Rescue Plan monies?
We've already expended all of our ARPA dollars.
Okay. I take it there's nothing for community action?
I did not receive any update from Community Action.
And community inclusive recreation?
Theirs will be noted that they previously shared at the LCC.
Okay.
And the same thing with Marion Birch.
And same thing? Okay. Any other comments for? Any announcements?
The next meeting will be November 15th, here in the City Hall chambers.
Okay. There any comments?
Mark, do you have any comments?
No.
Jerry?
Oh, no, I said what I had to say.
Okay.
No comments here.
You just need a
Then we move from adjournment.
I make a move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.